Every time you think of a funny joke, this girl in your class always laughs. You chalk it up to coincidence, but you think to yourself, if you can read my mind, slap the table 3 times. That the girl looks over at you, stares right into your eyes, and slowly slaps the table 3 times. I was blown away. For a moment I just stared back at her, wondering how this could even be possible. Humans can't do such things. Telepathy isn't real. Right? She giggles again, sticks the end of her pencil in her mouth playfully, and turns back to face the professor. The professor, a middle-aged man in a worn tweed jacket, is finishing a diagram on the whiteboard. Some obscure math problem that is to be our homework assignment, but that doesn't interest me now. The only thing on my mind is her. Class draws to a close and the other students begin gathering their belongings and making their way out of the room. Still I can't stop looking at her, staring like a fool. My mind races with questions, a torrent of emotions rushes through my body. I'm so utterly confused and at the same time, absolutely mesmerized. As hastily as possible I grab my things, stuff them haphazardly into my book bag, and make my way towards her. She is sitting all alone at the side of the classroom, quietly readying to leave. Before I can get close she turns to me and puts a finger over her lips, signaling me to be quiet. Still clearly amused she says, "Not here, take me to lunch." With that she stands to leave and begins walking towards the door. She doesn't turn or check to see if I'm following, she doesn't seem to have to, she knows I'm there, following like an obedient puppy. Lunch was chaotic, a tiny deli just off campus, extremely busy and filled with people. After some negotiation we were able to procure a small table on the patio. We set our trays of ridiculously overpriced food down and sat across from one another. I was baffled, wanting to ask so many questions and wondering what kind of trick this was and how she could have possibly involved me in her illusion without my knowledge. She must have observed me telling a joke before and noticed a nervous tick in my mannerisms or picked up on some kind of tell. That's how she knew when to laugh. I was reaching to say the least, but the skeptic in me refused to allow me to believe it was anything other than a parlor trick. She looked into my eyes hard like she was looking past them into my soul. Her gaze was locked on, unyielding, and intense. Despite my best efforts I couldn't look away. It was then I first noticed how incredibly beautiful she was. She was pretty in a played-down sort of way. Her perfectly applied, light, and tasteful makeup. Her soft and supple lips and hidden dimples. It's like she consciously tried to hide her beauty, or make herself unremarkable, but wasn't able to. She was attractive without trying. How had I never noticed before? We sat for several minutes without speaking or eating, just staring. A part of me was anxious for answers, but a bigger, more persistent part was calmed by her presence and felt comfortable just looking at her. Finally I decided to break the silence. "Look, I don't know what that was back there or how you did it, but people can't be just red minds. What's the trick?" I asked, overly sure of myself. She laughed audibly, and for the first time since we sat down, looked down at the food in front of her. "Hey," I said, getting slightly agitated. She looked back up at me, smiled, and reached her hand out to touch my cheek. "It's been so long," she said with emotion in her voice. "So many years since we." She stopped speaking and started using her fingertips to caress my face. A tear gathered in the corner of her eyes and she closed her mouth tightly. Calm again, slightly taken aback by her emotional display I asked, "Since what?" I let the question hang for a moment, trying very hard to remember her face or recollect anything that might give me a clue about her identity. No such luck. I didn't want to seem insensitive, but I continued. "I don't know you," I whispered for some unknown reason.